you for staying with the Monday Reporter. Series on Waste Management Town Hall is continuing live from the Rotary Vocational Training Center here in Kisumu. We're talking about waste management, the Kisumu edition. My guests are still with me, and I'm opening the floor for questions and comments over the next half an hour. And also send in your views at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Citizen Monday Report. I see there's a question here on the Kisumu waste management issue. Ms. Judith Olwach should not limit her focus to waste within the city under Mr. Abala Wanga, but should also extend the same efforts to towns such as Katito, Sondo, Ahero, and others that are choking with waste. This is from Bob Ndolo, former MCA. You'll address that. But let's open the floor for questions and comments. Who has the microphone? Yes, you have the microphone first. Go ahead, and then I'll come to you. Yes. Okay, thank you. I'm called Alex Odundo. I'm a fabricator of cook stoves, and I'm also producing briquettes from organic waste. And I wanted to ask NEMA to please reduce the fee for registration, because it stops the young people who has ideas to waste management to get into the sector. And again, we are requesting you guys to give us one license that can be used for any truck that we want to use, because at the level that we are starting doing waste management, we do not have the resources to have the trucks, our own trucks, so that it can be attached to the license that we're giving. Okay. So I think those are some of the things that stop us from, or stop many people from getting into the business. Name? Alex Odundo. Alex. Okay, yes. Thanks, Alex. Another thing is the... No, Alex, just one question. There are too many of you who want to ask questions. Maybe thank you. The county Thanks, government. Alex. Alex, kindly. Okay, let's just pass the microphone. That goes to NEMA. Next person, very fast, name.
Thank you, Trevor. I'm Meshak from Amazing Grace Youth Group. I'm asking this question from a perspective of a youth from informal settlement, where waste is also generated largely. We are requested to have 3 bins at the community level. And we are requesting that, for example, if my mom is selling skuma wiki, maybe owning a grocery, and my father is a bodaboda rider, the bike, the only amount that you leave at home is 120 shillings up to supper. And yet you want us to have the 3 bins for separating this waste. Where does this one come from? So we are pleading with the NEMA so that they can also see this out. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Pass the microphone in front of you. Yes, I'll come to you, then you can pass it here. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. You have the microphone already.
Good evening. My name is Fred Misach, waste actor at Ondiek Estate. My concern is to the organization supporting waste actors in Kisumu. If you see what we are recycling currently is it's like plastic. We have other percentage like organic, which is not being recycled. All organization that is working within waste should come up together so that we can reduce what is ending up at the dump site, so that the dump site can look neat other than the way it is. We can reuse this as we are supposed to use 3 R's. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, madam.
Okay. Hi, my name is Lizia Nauma Onyango. I work with an organization called Shack Dwellers International Kenya. I want to shift this discussion towards sustainability and decent livelihoods for the waste actors. We've said all these good things, but I'm asking myself where I'm sitting right now. How can we shift? Everyone that is standing up has a small thing that they are doing that is contributing to managing waste within the city. So I'm asking myself where I'm standing right now. How does the city and the county at large can come up with initiatives, large-scale initiatives, to scale up the little innovations that the communities are doing, so that they are at a level where not only 20 people are working in that sector, but even a whole company or like a whole industry to help mitigate that.
Got it.
Yes.
Thank you. Pass the microphone to Benson in front of you.
Let me ask this.
Yes.
My name is Samba Nixon Otieno, chairman of the City of Kisumu Urban Areas Association, and also representing the Kenya Alliance of Residents Association, that is KARA. Now I'm privileged that the CM Abala Wanga is here, and in his own submission he said that in Kisumu is very unique because we have the city, then we have the county. And I wanted to specifically direct this question on the boundaries of the city, because we still have a problem with the disposal of human remains. Where I come from is called Watorego. We still bury our dead. And that is against city. If you look at the best practices in management of cities, they do not allow the disposal of human remains anyhow. So to what extent are you enforcing that requirement to bring us to the status of a city as we align ourselves to Kigali and other cities?
Thank you so much. Benson, very briefly.
My name is Benson Abila, co-founder MTAKA and CEO. And Trevor, I'm very happy because you can see where Kisumu is. Kisumu, while other counties are struggling to set up MRFs, Kisumu is already discussing best models for MRF, right? And Sayam is saying, how do we make them not look like a dump site? The Waziri is saying, these are good models. And mine is, even as these MRFs are being established, we are moving towards investment, right? And small enterprises coming from the West sector because of the business model, only 20% of waste is being recycled. The 80% is an opportunity. So my question is this. SMEs are struggling, and you know access to traditional financing is difficult. Because if you go to a bank, they want to give you a loan, you don't have assets, you can't be given that facility. What is the practicality on access to finance? And then EPR was also presented. It's supposed to empower people on the front line, right, of recovery. What is the practicality? Because I know as MTAKA, we are building technology to ensure that the material recovered gets access to market, but also the traceability can ensure that waste pickers and aggregators can benefit from this material. So to the panel, how can EPR get to the waste pickers, and how can you also unlock financing, which is a barrier? But I'm really happy that MRF is working for Kisumu. 6 MRFs already. I don't know which other county can say that. Thank you.
Okay. Abala has concerns with that, but let me hear. I'll come back to the audience in just a bit. Let's hear what their reactions are, and start with NEMA. There was an issue from Alex on the unified licenses, so let's just answer them really quick.
Yes.
Then we get the next reaction. Yes.
Thank you. On the first question, I'd say that on the reduction of fee, the DG is working on that, and we're going to get answers very soon as per that.
Are you thinking of a unified business license, so that once they get one license, they don't need any other?
Oh, okay. Yeah, there was a second question on the license for the trucks. The truck, it is always an annual license that we issue for each truck, because it's very important for us to track each truck. We want to know where they are getting the waste and where they are disposing of. So that's why it's important to give one per truck per year. Then on the second question, there was one to do with the bins.
From Meshach, yes.
Yeah. For that one, I think it is, we are saying that the issue of waste management is a collective responsibility, and we would like to have an efficient way of managing waste. So we are trying to segregate waste at the source. So the only way to do that is to come up with bins where it is easy to segregate at that particular point. And right now we have 3 color code bins. We have the green for organic wastes, we have black for general wastes, and we have blue for recyclable wastes. So it is easier. It's also easier for those who transport and take this waste to the final destination. It will also be very easy to take this to an MRF, and that's where we are going to have what we are calling a clean MRF. That's going to be very much good as what the manager has just talked about. A clean MRF becomes very easy, and it can only be done if we have these 3 bins we have talked about.
Okay. Kubasu, there's a question on sustainability which you can all react to as panelists from Auma here, who talked about, is it possible to have a large-scale initiative for small-scale initiatives that are happening in different places, so that not everyone is doing their own thing at a corner, and have one huge system where everybody knows where to put where and how to recycle it?
Yeah, so I think there's opportunity for that. And Kisumu with the 5 MRFs, I think we need to galvanize, support, and make them work. And how do we get to do that? Is that the model that is already there. I think the opportunity there is great in terms of getting all the waste service providers, whether it is by law, it's a requirement that before you take your waste to any other place, it has to be pre-processed. Then that way, the selection I I reckon, has been done based on the volumes of waste and also the spatial distribution of the population. So it is critical that these 5, can we make them to work at the scale at which we are in? And I reckon that the problem is not just a Kenyan problem, it is a global problem. And I'd like to just quickly touch on turning the head around. There is the issue of polluter pays principle, there is extended producer responsibility. And the talks in Geneva, for example, collapsed because the focus has been constantly on waste management. But we cannot, for example, recycle our way out of the current problem. We need to have, and we need to start thinking about upstream measures towards dealing with the problem of waste. And how do we do that? For example, in plastic, the greatest amount of plastic that leaks into the environment is actually the single-use plastic products and packaging. And these are purely because they are badly designed. We can drink our water, for example, through reuse bottles. So, and in doing that, we will eliminate the problem of these huge amounts of plastic bottles constantly being in our environment. And this is the refill and the reuse models. So, the important next level conversation is what are these upstream measures that we need to start fostering, even if it's going to be investments. Can we start thinking about a city level refill and reuse model of drinking water? And this happens. If you go to a lot of cities, you pass by a water fountain, you tap your water, in your reuse bottle, you go. But here you have to buy a bottle of water everywhere. And critically, if the extended producer responsibility gets to work, and I know it will get to work, then it will ensure that the badly designed single-use plastic items and single-use other products would be so expensive to be managed at the end of life in terms of the EPR fees that these producers must be forced to design better products that can be more sustainable and that can also reduce the amounts of material that we are getting out. And finally, in order to deal with this problem, the analogy is, if you get into a room and you find a tap is open and there is water on the floor, what do you do first? Do you mop the floor? No. You have to close the tap. And how do you close the tap? We have to eliminate all the problematic and unnecessary plastic products. And Kenya already has 16 of these problematic plastic products that are ready for elimination. So let's start there. And then we would not have the downstream problem. Or even if it will be there, then it will be manageable. And that is what we are calling for. Let's look at upstream measures and the waste management shall be fixed.
Okay, that's an interesting conversation, but let me bring in Waziri here on that, and then I'll come to Mutua and Tobias to talk about the sustainability of it all that was raised by Auma, because everyone seems to be doing their own little thing at their corner.
Thank you. The county government. What is the role of the government? The government creates a conducive environment for businesses to thrive. As a government, we have made investments in these MRFs. As a government, there is Kasese. Just recently, the road that even leads to Kasese, the county government invested. So the trucks can actually access Kasese. As a government, we recently invested in a garbage rare truck loader, which is able to transport, it has a compactor specifically for organic waste, such that the MRFs can deal with the recyclables, but now we brought a truck that will only handle organic. We call upon the small and medium-sized enterprises. It's easier to coordinate with the government when you're in organized groups. Just as I mentioned, Kiwan, Kiwapo. Some have approached us with our new truck. For those who are not in in the recyclables like the plastics and the others. We can use that. You can identify a specific market. It doesn't have to be within the city. It can be Kombewa, it can be Katito, it can be Awasi, it can be Moroni. And you can be able to exploit those opportunities. There are 3 levels here because there is the generation level. When each one of us separates, which has really been emphasized here, it becomes easier for these particular people to be able to sort them out and take them to the right places. Now, the other issue that I also wanted to mention is I mentioned biogas earlier, and we do have about 5 biogas plants that has been developed, and this is outside the city. We have the Kisumu Dairy Development Center, where there is a biogas, using the cow dung. We also have the Maseno ATC, which recently as a department we are able to set up. Then we have the one in Boya. We have even partnered with Biogas International, where we are having, using the market waste. And it's something that we want to replicate in other markets because it's already in Ahero and it is in Duga. So we call upon the young people. These opportunities are there. And in trying to sensitize them further, the government has platforms. In each of the sub-counties, we have officers. The environment officers, we have the administrators. We hold forums regularly. There's even a popular forum called Huduma Mashinani, where information is impacted. So we call upon all of you to use the county offices in each and every sub-county in the wards to get information. You'll find our officers on solid waste management and other areas.
All right. Tobias, there's a concern from Benson in terms of MSMEs accessing finance. You can comment on that and also the sustainability of it all.
Thank you. It's interesting that question came from Benson.
Because he has already accessed finance.
KCAC has supported EPTACA in 2 different programs now. But the question is still valid because access to finance is the single biggest challenge that SMEs face, especially SMEs in the climate space, SMEs within the sustainable space. The biggest challenge we have as a continent is that we do not have internal financial infrastructure. Most of the financing, especially that goes to sustainable ventures, come from outside, unfortunately. And that needs to change. And we need to look inward and build a local financing infrastructure for SMEs and to basically do what we call locally led development in this particular space. But for ventures out there that are looking to access finance, that are looking to make sure that they can get basically take off, you have to have a very viable business model for you to be able to access finance. You must have a very clear value proposition as an enterprise on what you're trying to do. You must formalize, because one of the risky issues that most of these banks see is if a business is not formalized, it becomes very difficult to advance financing to you. And those are some of the things we look at when we are trying to finance these ventures. But now that he mentions that, end of October, next month, we are having the Africa Climate Investment Summit that will be happening in Nairobi at the Edge Convention Center, which we are organizing with KCAC and all other ecosystem players across the continent. And it's bringing investors and climate ventures in a room to talk investment, to explore pathways for access to finance, to look at how do we avail de-risking finance, how do we avail patient capital for these ventures to actually take off and get off what they normally call the valley of death for their ventures. So this is a very good opportunity for us to have this conversation on investment, to have the conversation on access to finance, and to have a conversation on a viable pathway for these ventures to grow. And that is also very critical in the sustainability of it all, that the good lady there asked. Because when we build enterprises, it is an insurance for the future. One of the reasons why we need to shift from aid to trade, I was having a conversation earlier with Alex.
Yeah.
We need to shift the mindset from aid to trade, because when you commercialize and create ventures out of it, this is something that will exist for generations to come.
Yeah.
And it will be entrenched in what we consume and how we do our daily lives.
Okay. Mutua, very briefly on this.
Yes.
On sustainability especially.
Thank you. And I'll start by saying small impact, big changes, right? Whatever we are all doing in the waste sector in Kisumu, what the waste actors are doing, no matter how small it is, it's all leading up to what this conversation is happening. I mean, the county government will have built MRF structures, but because they might, let's say, have not been strong components of what people are doing at locally led actions, no one will be operationalizing them. So whatever we are doing as waste actors, be it small or large, is really impactful and important work. But additionally to what Tobias has said, we have, for us as waste actors, we have to really think, this local action, does it really have a business mindset? Can it really be investable and bankable? But also on the flip side, policies that really favor us and address to the nuances of all the areas that we work with. If it's separation of waste at source and places like Nyalenda where the rooms are small and the models for infrastructure is really limited, what could be the alternative? If it's infrastructure, are there alternative financing models that could work for small actions? So yeah.
Okay. We have only 10 minutes to close this. I'll take only 5 people from this side. Very briefly, state your name, concern, and then 5 minutes for all the panelists. Just 1 minute closing remark each. Yes.
Thank you. I'm James Okoth, a member of the Q1 and a representative of Mr. Green Trading Africa. My question is around sustainability, and it goes to Tobias about advocacy and just a concern about the price of virgin plastic. I know that most of us who are small SMEs here who are trying to innovate and just to come up with solutions for waste are coming up like MTACA, and we cannot compete competitively with the virgin plastics that is coming into the country. If you take, for an example, the process of plastic recycling, we have recovery process, we have the labor, we have all those overhead costs. But at the end of the day, we are not able to compete because of the price that we have to charge, because we have to at least make some profit margin out of it. What is the position or what is the voice of KCIC in regards to this that you can able to present to our...
Okay, thank you, James. That's all. Thank you. Yes. Just go straight to the question. Your microphone is off. Switch it on. As you switch on your microphone, let's move to the next person.
My name is Abel Miki-Pruto from Ustawi Organic Farms. My question goes to the CEC. Can you explore options of public-private partnerships? Because yes, we are making products, I specifically from organic waste, but we need markets. So can the county government explore an option where we get public-private partnerships and then we engage in shared revenues?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
My name is Linda Ogweno. I come from Migosi Ward, and I'm also a political trainer. My concern goes to Madam Waziri. As a resident of Migosi, we are concerned about what is called budgeted corruption in terms of desilting of our uji. You find that year in, year out, desilting of our uji is what is considered. This is the county that has professors, and we are not understanding how we cannot come up with a permanent solution to this question. And every other time, this is what happens, and funds get to disappear in this particular way. And to Nema, there is Kapenesa Kwares Center within Kisumu, within Migosi Ward, that has not been refilled and is currently being used as a dumping site. I would want to hear a comment from you on that. And to MTACA, for you using street children and mobilizing them and using them to do the work that you do, I just wanted to say kudos.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
My name is Chris Owura from the Department of Water, Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources and the Partnerships and Resource Mobilization.
Okay.
My question goes directly to KCIC. Under policies, I would wish to know what role do you play in influencing the county level policies on sustainable waste management? Thank you.
Okay. Last one. Yes, ma'am. You're the last one.
I'm Rhoda Otieno of Muungano Wana Vijiji. Our work is to involve the community members to be able, actually we organize groups and train them, capacity strengthen them, even to the point of offering grants so that they can be able to work around waste. So what we know right now, the truth on the ground, and just today afternoon we were discussing with one of the waste actors, they're already grappling for the plastics. It's not enough for everyone anymore. And as we speak right now, we can't even pretend that plastic is a waste in Kisumu. It's no longer a waste because you cannot come across a plastic. It's been crumpled. You know, like they all want to have it because they already know what to do with it. And very soon, we may not even have the recyclables because we may not have enough for everybody to recycle. Okay. I want the county government to start thinking forward on what we are going to do when that time comes, because this is a source of income for these children. We have capacity to strengthen them and they know what to do. So we want to think ahead of them and see what happens when the recyclables are not there. Okay. And this is the point where I'm pointing us to the organic waste, which is a menace and which we ought to think around and see what can happen, as well as the diapers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rhoda. Finally, Chairman, I think Waziri had mentioned, yes.
Thank you, Trevor. I'm Honorable Samuel Dede, representing North Kisumu Ward and Chair toward Natural Climate Change within the County Assembly of Kisumu. Mine goes directly to the NEMA team, Honorable Trevor. One, the officer from the NEMA team has already told us that they usually provide licenses to the transporting of the waste from one point to another. What mechanism have they put in place to see that the waste are being monitored from one point to the last point? Being that we are having problem with our companies like the Keda company and the Kibos company, whereby they dispose their waste into the water. Why do they provide for the licensing, which should be monitored in quarterly basis on a year? After 3 months, they should review over the licenses. Do they do so? And what mechanism they use to review their licenses? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's come to NEMA so that you also give your closing remarks. Just about a minute, address the question and your closing remarks.
Thank you. The first question was on a quarry in Migosi. Right now, we have been doing mapping of those quarries that have been abandoned. We've been doing together with the county government and geology and mines. And once that one is done, then we are going to ask the county government to assist in getting resources on how we can do rehabilitation of such sites. For the second question, for waste transport, this one we issue, as I said, we issue waste transport and we consider the point at which the waste is being picked and where it's being taken to for disposal. So we have a tracking document that we use together with the waste handlers, the person who is handling. And this waste handler must have the NEMA license. He must also be licensed for that. So that one is why we need to have that. So for my closing remark, Trevor, I would just like to say that waste management is a collective responsibility for all of us. It's not for one organization. It's not for the county government, not for NEMA. It's all of us. And if we work together, I'm sure we can succeed. And this one also goes to all of us that should be self-disciplined. Sometimes I drive along the way and find somebody driving ahead of you, throwing some kind of plastic through the window or banana peels. Such a person, I think, is because they don't have that discipline that we're talking about. So I think self-discipline and collective responsibility is going to guide us in ensuring that we have a proper and clean environment.
Alex, closing remarks?
Thank you very much. So for me, I would say that I really wait for the day when mandatory extended producer responsibility in Kenya will be a reality. I know what we have is a bump on the road. Once this matter is expended with, then we should be able to unlock the much needed private sector funding to really drive this sustainable and scalable solution to deal with at least 40% of the waste, which is a synthetic material, that will also push for better designed products so that we move away from dealing with the downstream measures, which is waste management, but more of how can we continue to keep materials in the loop. Thank you very much.
Okay. Mutua?
Thank you. And to address my the concern that my good friend raised. We also have a non-profit organization called Homeless of Kisumu that actually initiated the passion to work in the waste sector. And the organization supports street-connected youth and children and supports them through a journey of rehabilitation. We work very closely with the Department of Children's Services to ensure that the children are rescued from the street, rehabilitated, and taken back home. And so for us at MTACA, we work with youth, street-connected youth above the age of 18. And for any children that we come into contact with, they're directly linked to those places. But my closing remarks is for all of us who are in the waste sector, enterprises, groups, CBOs, again, we are really doing impactful work, saving millions in terms of revenue that will have gone to waste, and saving counties and governments in terms of money that will have been gone into fuels and trucks to take this waste to the dam site. So whatever work you're doing, ensuring that we clean the environment and collect and recover these materials is really not going unnoticed. And hopefully in the coming future, investment will be coming in to support the work that we do. Thank you.
Okay. Tobias? As you give your closing remarks, also there's a question from Chris.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
There were two questions on plastic recycling and why it's expensive and what needs to be done. And this speaks to the policy component. And what I would say to that very quickly is there's a lot that needs to be done on policy incentives in terms of rebates for research and development, in terms of tax breaks for sustainable ventures, so that you can make sustainability economically attractive. The question on to what extent are we looking at influencing county-level policy-making process? We are not looking at influencing the county in the policy-making process, but we are playing an enabling role and working with all ecosystem players to ensure that we can bridge policy and practice way in advance, and ensure that we don't leave anyone behind in the policy-making process. So our role is to ensure we can contribute to the policy strengthening component for sustainable waste management. And that speaks to assisted compliance and all the other interventions that we have. On my closing remarks, this is the last town hall we've had in a series of 5 now. And we are having this conversation here in Kisumu, but really as an organization, we are looking continent-wide because the challenges we are talking about here are cross-border. If Kisumu does all it does perfectly, and another lakeside city in Uganda or Tanzania does not do the right thing, then we are back to square one. We are looking at driving green transition across the African continent. We are looking at building a climate entrepreneurship ecosystem, and that takes everyone to make sure that we can actualize that. UNEP reported last year that the waste crisis globally is costing us $361 billion because of what is not being done correctly. So we need to have that fundamental shift. What I said earlier, that we have to redefine our social contract from consumers to waste stewards.
Waziri, and there were several questions for you. You can just address them really quick. Kipruto on PPPs, laying down budgeted corruption, and also there was another one from Broda. I'm thinking forward to dealing with starting to dealing with organic waste because plastics are now finished around the area.
Yeah, thanks. Now, on the first one, which is the PPP. Yes, the county government has various PPP arrangements already in place. Actually, to sort out the matter of Kasese, which I would prefer calling Kasese Integrated Solid Waste Facility, is already on course. And of course, even the appeal, the process, we have already engaged the National Treasury to be able to engage in a PPP, to be able to transform that particular place. So that's something that is already ongoing, and our hope is that very soon we'll be able to conclude it. Recently, some people must have seen an EOI, and that is in regard to Kasese, converting waste. And our hope is that that will be large scale. We have the SMEs, medium-sized enterprises, but we'd also want that huge mass in Kasese to be handled. Now, the other issue is about
the budgeted corruption that Linda had brought up.
Oh, the budgeted corruption. That's an interesting one. Maybe if Ninda, you have evidence you could give us regarding that, because we know that corruption is a two-way process. We know that. As a county government, our values are very clear. If there are specific apples, rotten ones amongst us, that one is found in any kind of place. But our able professor is very clear on his stand about corruption.
Okay. Your closing remarks now.
Now, the other issue, just before I close, Trevor, is about if plastic waste is depleted, what next? We are encouraging our young people, our SMEs, to also venture in organic waste. There are varied opportunities. Please do that. Now, on my closing remarks, it's clear that waste has value. As a county government, we already have a framework. We are completing our Sustainable Solid Waste Policy and Sustainable Solid Waste Act, which is aligned to the national one. We have our Kisumu County Environmental Health and Sanitation Act. We have the Climate Change Policy. We have our Risk Vulnerability Assessment Report, which clearly maps out opportunities within Kisumu for investment in different areas of environment and in other sectors. We call upon investors to partner with county and invest in Kisumu.
Okay. Thank you very much. There was a question from Samba Nixon, chairman for City of Kisumu, to Abala Wanga on allowing the city manager to respond on boundaries of the city of Kisumu within the context of human waste, human remains disposal. Yes, very briefly, sir. Yes, it should be on.
Yes, thank you. I'll be very brief, Trevor. I think Samba knows what he's talking about. Samba was the first civil society guy to make noise against me when we declared burial in the city illegal. And you are the first person to organize the first demonstrations. And the assembly members are here. The chairman knows this very well. He has been talking in funerals, challenging me not to stop burials with his colleagues. Now, it is illegal to bury in the city. The law is very clear. They even went to court. The decision was against them, that stop burying in the city. So our position is very clear. Now, we realize that the Luos have traditions, that to change them from that tradition to another one is a difficult process, whether you do town halls. So we have decided to use the iron fist muscle. So next time, within 6 months, we are concluding with the court process how you'll be fined if you bury in the city, and how we are going to stop the chiefs from producing burial permits. Now, we have cordoned the city to be the CBD areas where we stop burials. Manyata, Bondeni, Kanyakwar, Dunga. In fact, Dunga now it's worse because we are doing a waterfront and we are burying next to the water, even disobeying the water rules, the Warma rules. So this is, I'm making this strong statement before the camera. And the position of the administration of Governor Nyong'o is, don't bury in the city.
Okay.
After 6 months, don't worry, we'll embarrass you with your funerals and your maitis because we'll not allow you to bury there. But on our side, we are also renovating the cemetery for alternative burial. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And that's why we leave this conversation. It's been a series of town hall conversations on sustainable waste management. And what we know is that at the end of it all, waste management is a responsibility that is shared among every single person. We want to give special thanks to the Rotary Vocational Training Center here in Kisumu, and special thanks to every panelist who was here with us, starting from Honorable Judith Olwoch, CCM, Water, Environment, Natural Resources and Climate Change, Kisumu County, Leonard Ofula, NEMA County Director of Environment, Kisumu County, Tobias Bele, Communication and Knowledge Management Lead, KCIC, Alex Kubasu, Program Coordinator, Green Economy and Policy, WWF Kenya, Prima Fasi Mutua, Co-Founder and COO, Mtaka, and Abala Wanga, the City Manager, and all of you here for speaking to us tonight. Time is never enough when we're talking about waste management. It's almost midnight. We still have not concluded all these conversations, despite all the series of 5 town halls. We'll continue having this conversation. On behalf of everyone who made this possible, I want to say good night and God bless. Thank you so much for watching. All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Aki. Thank you.